Okay, Christina here to listen to some music. And today's music selection is Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. So my journey so far on the channel with Pink Floyd has been really interesting. So my history with Pink Floyd before I started the channel is that I just happened to have a friend of mine get me introduced to the album Momentary Lapse of Reason. That was years and years and years ago. And I really do love that album. But I always kind of felt loyal to the newer Pink Floyd. And I've had some friends throughout the years that were really big fans of the pre-Momentary Lapse of Reason age of Pink Floyd. And I don't know, there was always sort of this clash, and I just was never really willing to expand my horizons with Pink Floyd. I was just too comfortable in what I knew with Momentary Lapse of Reason, and I didn't want to spoil that. But that is one reason why we're here with this channel, is to expand all of our musical horizons, including my own. So I'm listening to all of this with a very open mind. I have already done Comfortably Numb on the channel, and then also a full album listening through, but one track at a time, but just very rapidly, in rapid succession, of The Dark Side of the Moon. So you can find a few tracks of that here on YouTube, and the rest of it's on Patreon, or if you're a channel member. But really, I think this journey with Pink Floyd for me is just beginning. And also, what are we doing with all this music? I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we talk about a whole bunch of different musical aspects, including how it makes us feel, the human experience with this music, but also some of the structural stuff with the music and kind of why we like it so much, or don't like it. You never know. So, enough talking for now. Let's listen. Okay, here we go. Okay, great start, as always. I have slowly begun to learn with especially early Pink Floyd that you just never know what's coming next. So I don't know anything else about this album. I don't know where this song falls. I don't know if this is more of a concept sort of album. And right now, I kind of don't want to know. I just want to be involved in this moment, in this present with this music. So it was nice and weird because it started here. It was almost making my eyes water. Finally came in over here, and maybe this is just something that you can hear in the headphones, but I was hearing someone like start to wrestle over here, sort of like maybe they just picked up the guitar in front of the microphone. There were some noises over here before they started to play, and then there was this little interplay. But it's so bluesy and improv and relaxed, and it makes you feel like you're in the room with them playing, and I love that. So, back it up a little bit, and let's keep going. Where is this headed? My guess is it starts out so tiny over here, expands over here, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. We'll see.
So you think you could tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to train your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. And have we found?
All right, I'm going to back it up and hear where the title was finally brought in. I heard that big and loud and clear. Wish you were here. You probably saw it on my face. I believe that some of Pink Floyd's music sounds timeless, which I think is one reason why it resonates with everybody over all of these decades that it has existed. But then every once in a while, whatever decade the song or the album was written in and produced in, it's going to shine through. And so that little synthesizer horn sound, I think, gave the 70s away. To me, that just sounds like a synthesizer sound from that time. But to me, it was endearing. It sort of gave a little snapshot. It's not a moment of weakness or anything. It's just like a little window into their present at the time that they wrote this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's actually really endearing. So I still am really enjoying all the bluesiness of this song and, of course, the different flavors. So like that synthesizer thing. And it took a while for some of these instruments to come in. Like we got almost up to the 2-minute mark before the percussion, before the drums even came in. And we hear the piano in the background. And just as you think it's going to get heavy, the melody and the accompaniment sort of turns a little lighter. You hear a couple of the chords in the guitars or the piano in the background that gives it a major chord sound of, a happy feel to it. So I definitely caught on to just two souls in a fishbowl or something year after year. Love that. Let's go back and hear some more. I just want to catch that main chorus and then see how it takes us out.
How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. And have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here.
Okay. So all that noise at the end, is that a transition into the next track? I don't know. At first I thought it was wind, but then it ended up being more electrical, like static distortion, which to me is a little bit more ominous. So this song is deceptively safe. And I'm still not quite sure what this means, because it said, "We wish you were here," but at the same time, they're talking about already being there, like in this fishbowl, kind of doing the same thing over and over. I heard something about giving into the same fears. Let's take a closer look at the lyrics, shall we? Because I know Pink Floyd is interpretive, okay? I do know that. But I think that we can try to dig in a little bit further, just see how far we can understand this. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees? We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. The same old fears. Wish you were here. Okay. So it's asking questions. Do you think you can tell? Do you think you can tell what reality is? Do you think you can tell good from bad? Sort of like we're living in blissful ignorance, maybe, with something. I'm not sure what it is they're bringing up. And they're clever with this, Pink Floyd, that they bring these things into the music, and you're not quite sure what it was in that moment that they wrote it, but it's left open for your interpretation. So this seems deceptive. I'm going to go with that. It's deceptively safe. It's deceptively calm. It's deceptively happy. But then there's this dark cloud that's sort of looming over the top. And I think just the fact that it sort of starts with a version of distortion, like it was in one ear, kind of uncomfortable. And then it ended with this unusual sort of distortion. And everything in between was very simplistically laid out there, but at the same time, there was a little bit of almost humor to it. Kind of like, what are you going to do? You know, this is kind of the way life is. We just do our best to sort of stay grounded in reality, I guess. But then the whole idea of wish you were here, that alone can imply missing someone. So, wow, how would I interpret this song? How would I bring this song into my universal playlist of music? And when would I bring this song up? What would I be feeling when I would want to listen to this song? Remorse? Loss? Remembrance? But at the same time, when it digs into those feelings, it's also not so heavy. And I do picture just someone playing the blues guitar, like around a campfire or something. Just, there's something basic and human about it. So let's go back and hear a little bit of that humanity. Here's some at the beginning. And even there, I'm hearing some weird distortion kind of going up and down. Love the compositional techniques with their songwriting. It's so well balanced. So intentional. Ah, see, I heard that noise? And then how they bring everything else in. What a relief. And then this guitar line is so good. Like a call and answer. To me, those are the two souls in the fishbowl. And one is just sort of stating their angst over and over again, their story, their question. And this person is trying to interject and join in the conversation. And so good. The musicianship here is so good. And I love that sort of a twangy 12-string sound in the guitar. I don't think I've heard that from Pink Floyd's music yet. Okay, so then how do we bring in the rest of the instruments? Let's hear. Right around the time they bring in the percussion.
A smile from a veil. Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to train your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees?
So that little that up there, that's exactly what I'm talking about, where it brings up the mood a little bit. So you can use this song to tap into or voice out emotions of grief or anxiety, but then there's this lightness to it that makes it easier.
Hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change.
Okay, I also really like how this is Gilmore singing. I love his voice. He actually shows a couple of really good moments in here of his preciseness with his singing, where he sort of goes down several notes in a row and he hits every single one of them. But then he is really showing off his slidey skills, which I love in music. It takes bravery to slide around on pitches, and he does it with such artistry. It really is how he speaks through his singing voice, and how then the guitars are mimicking that. That right there is part of the sound that we know and love from Pink Floyd. So in this part of the song, there's this sense of familiarity. Brings us peace, brings us a little bit of hope, a little bit of comfort. We start in discomfort, we end in discomfort, but they give us that sense of comfort in the middle. But then comes some humor. I'm just going to call it like I see it. It's a little bit humorous. This sound, this synthesizer brass sound, it's not real brass instruments. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not a mature sound. It's more comical. And I think it's done on purpose so that we don't take ourselves too seriously. We don't take the song too seriously. It's meant to make us think, but not necessarily to bring us down too much. So let's hear when they bring some of that synthesizer sound in. And here, these chords are really, really simple. Yeah, so just very simplistic, that funny little sound in there. There's no echo to it. It's a very matte sound. And I just think it's there to keep our feet on the ground. Okay, so that was Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. This one is still sinking in with me. I see how they constructed it. I think I see the message. I mean, not the exact message, but the interpretation that it exists for. And I can only imagine how people, the audience, the listeners, would take this in and make it their own. Sort of an anthem or a ballad for longing, for maybe even grief, and sort of reminding us to not take ourselves too seriously. But at the same time, serious stuff happens and you got to deal with it. But maybe don't get so wrapped up in it sometimes. Just sort of keep your feet on the ground and be okay. So yeah, I love the tone behind this piece, and I love the simplicity of it. There were just a handful of instruments there. I can't wait to learn more about where this song fits in with the album that has the same name. I mean, this seems like it's a big deal. I'm just getting this little sliver of it. I need to know more. This song has the potential of being extremely meaningful. At first listen, again, I'm still letting it sink in. I think it's there to establish the human connection with it. And I'm still working on that. I definitely feel the beginnings of it, but connections sometimes take time. So I am excited to let this connection unfold, especially as I get to know the rest of the album. At this point, I've never really been disappointed by Pink Floyd. I think I'm beginning to trust that now. That's part of my own fault here that I do with music, is that I hear a group and I like some of their music and I'm afraid to venture out too much beyond that for fear of it disappointing me and kind of ruining it. And it has happened. But with Pink Floyd, I don't know. I think there's enough good stuff out there from Pink Floyd that I don't think that would happen. I just need to trust that. I need to begin to trust that. So thank you, all of you, for helping me develop this trust and helping guide me through this journey. This just leaves me sort of ever thirsty for more here. I picture myself in the future just wanting to hear that little guitar hook, like craving it, and then seeking it out in my playlist and listening. And to me, I think that's part of that connection that we get with music. Okay, so be sure to do all things, like and subscribe, become a channel member, support the channel on Ko-fi, join me over on Patreon. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. And keep listening.